Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Welcome to Drinkin' Bros Fake News, episode 100. Man, that seems strange, D'Anthony. I believe that you were the one who created this, right?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
It does, Dan. It's episode 100. And I'm shocked when I do 100 of anything, let alone a show called Fake News. This is one of our most popular ones, and I did not expect it to go 100 episodes.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. Just a couple of silver spoons. I remember when it first started, we were in suits, kind of like Anchorman and all that other stuff, and then it just kept going, and it was like, oh, shit. Maybe we should just keep doing this, but as normal people after that. And we are on 100 episodes. Shout out to Hans Zimmer for the theme that has lasted 100 episodes. And I don't see us changing anytime soon.
No,
at all.
Can't afford to.
Can't afford to whatsoever. Couple stories today in the news, just a tiny couple stories. First and foremost, more evidence points towards Dr. Fauci being a fucking idiot and COVID being created in a Wuhan lab. According to an article written by Nicholas Wade, a former science correspondent for the New York Times, evidence points toward the Wuhan lab also being the origin of COVID-19. In the article, Wade describes a practice known as gain-of-function research, where most, is it virulence or virulence?
Virulent.
My pronunciation is always...
Where are you reading? Most virulent strains of a virus are created in hopes. So basically what this does, gain-of-function research, is... scientists in a lab will take pathogens that infect animals and try to synthetically make them react to human DNA in hopes that they can get ahead of nature and make sure that we're prepared when this thing happens. Now, the problem with this is that this Wuhan lab with the gain of function, if you read the article by Nicholas Wade, they release unintentionally at least one virus, not at least, but approximately one virus per year. These old stories, and the reason everybody thought coronavirus originally came from wet markets in some bat is because that had happened in the past before, at least according to them. It had happened with I think SARS-1 and then MERS as well. Mm-hmm. Now you got to wonder if all of those came out of this Wuhan lab. Now, Fauci is one of the biggest proponents of gain-of-function research in the government. He's the guy that made sure that place got funded. Him and some other fucking dummy, I can't remember his name, and Francis Collins, the guy from the Human Genome Project, who's now over at the NIH. They all are proponents of this stuff. And it looks like, if you read the article and all the evidence, that Nicholas Wade, who is a former science correspondent for the New York Times, it looks pretty clear that this novel coronavirus 19 was created in a lab in Wuhan and then incidentally released.
Yeah, and for me, like, this was something that I expected all along. I know you and I have been talking about it over the last year. I'm not surprised by any of it. The problem I have with it is, why is there no retaliation for how many people have, millions at this point, died around the world?
Retaliation against whom exactly? This isn't the
China.
No, this isn't the Chinese government. This is a research lab funded by United States taxpayers.
So I guess my question would be then, if that's the case,
the retaliation would be against Fauci. The retaliation would be against the members of the U.S. government and scientists in the United States who were proponents of this technology and who funded it. And by the way, who have 10x'd the funding. And we'll get to that in a minute. But the reason that the government and Fauci are so adamant at shutting down this narrative is because they're the ones who are culpable. That's why. There's no fucking question. There's no retaliation against China. That's why, people. It was funny when Trump was saying China, but really he should have been saying Trump and Obama and Fauci, frankly, because they didn't do shit to shut any of this down. As a matter of fact, they facilitated it.
Well, my question is this: did they know? Because I watched 60 Minutes a couple weeks ago with the president of the WHO. And it seems like every administration had them. I know Trump fired them and got rid of them, and then Biden got them back on the first day in office. Are we just trusting them, or do you think our government knew about this all along for years and years and years?
What are you talking? I mean, money doesn't just leave the United States and go to China without somebody knowing that it's going there. So this has been going on for a while. Gain-of-function research had been banned before, and was overturned actually during the Trump administration. So Fauci, behind the scenes in the Trump administration, overturned this, got $1 million plus some dollars over there to do gain-of-function research, and then within a couple of years, a fucking major virus has escaped into the wild. So,
So with this, and the reason why I'm asking, I know little about this actually. What is gain-of-function research exactly? And why would it even be necessary in the first place?
Well, I already told you what it is. It's scientists in a lab trying to turn an animal virus into one that will infect human beings, so they can study it in a controlled environment and come up with a vaccine for it before it happens. Now, that's what a lot of viruses mutate from animals to human DNA, like AIDS, for example.
Okay.
But the reason to do it, I mean, I guess in a way it makes sense, but the frequency with which it fails is obviously a problem. I mean, if one of these is going to get released into the wild every year, I guess we're just flipping a coin at that point.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And, why is nobody else talking about this? And why isn't this being shut down?
That's a good question. Well, the opposite of it being shut down is happening. So due to the lack of coverage concerning the dangers of gain-of-function research, and now it's starting to get some steam because Rand Paul's been shit-talking Fauci, and Fauci's just lying like directly to Congress, which is pretty funny. The new project that's been formed since all this started, by the way, since the pandemic started, called the Global Virome Project, has now been funded with $1.2 billion instead of just $1.1 million to study 500,000 new viruses through gain-of-function research. So, good luck.
Yeah, if we have 500,000 viruses that are sitting in a lab somewhere, you're right. Like, what's to stop the next one from getting out? And then, what do you do with the knowledge that you have? Shit. To me, it's probably why the housing market went nuts during the pandemic, is everybody was like, well, definitely want to get out of crowded cities and move and live wherever the fuck I want to live. But shit, man, if this is the case, we're all fucked. Because I know very little on this, and like, my God, man, fucking A. I mean, it makes sense on one hand, thinking about it out loud now that I know what it is, that you would try it to try to get ahead of it, I guess. But there's so many different things that would have to happen in order for one of these things to get huge. I guess now it begs the question then, if this was happening in previous administrations, so like SARS or swine flu, were those lab created as well?
Swine flu probably wouldn't be a candidate for that, but SARS and MERS for sure would be. I mean, COVID is a variation of SARS, so it would, if the evidence is suggesting that COVID came from one of those areas, it would seem likely, at least, that MERS and SARS would have as well. So the gain-of-function stuff was banned in the United States, and there was some. I can't figure out what it was because it just keeps being referred to, but some exemption allowed Fauci to funnel dollars into this COVID research. And again, I don't know why no one's talking about this. I mean, I guess I do. Media has just become It's become state media at this point. I don't know if you saw the article. They came out with quotes from the guy from people from the New York Times and all sorts of Washington Post. So apparently, what typically happens in the White House is if somebody can't go on record about something, you can do you can report a government official said X, Y, and Z, and then if they go on the record later, that's fine or whatever. Now to go on the record, the only way that the Biden administration will allow people to go on the record is if they have edit and veto power over the fucking quotes. So reporters will come into a private meeting with a White House official, have a conversation, transcribe everything, and before that can be published in the media, they have to fucking be able to edit it. So
they can essentially go in and redact certain statements and conversations that they talked about, right?
Right, and this is by the way, at least to our knowledge, never happened in a presidential administration before.
Well, that's great, but I kind of assumed it, right? All the media is censored. Most people on social media is censored. So, if you're not driving the story you want, does it really matter?
Well, there's a guy, Sagar and Jetty from Realignment Podcast and the show Rising. It's an internet show that you should be following. His Instagram handle is ESAAGAR. You should be following him because that's where I found out a number of these things, to be honest. He was one of the first people to be discussing this Wade article. Now Russell Brand just put out a whole fucking 20-minute video breaking it down as well, so it's going to get even more mainstream. It's going to be interesting to see how all these no one will fight harder for a lie than people who have fought hard to defend it or fought hard to believe it. You know what I mean? So think about religion or whatever the fuck else. People that are super fans of their sports teams or any of that bullshit. We're seeing that now. People have grown so accustomed to having to defend, quote unquote, the media because conservatives attacked it so much that now it's trust the media and trust the scientists, but they're fucking lying to you every day. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Probably not well.
No, it never does. And, look, trust the science. We've had numerous scientists on the show who said, look, science is always changing. So what are you trusting exactly? Today's science or, an hour from now? Because it's going to be different. Now, the media, on the other hand, I don't trust at all. And, boy, to go through all of these different articles on all these different sites to try to figure out what is what, I think that is going to be for eternity. I don't think it'll ever go back to just a simple, straight black and white. Here's the news. That's it. Guy got killed in Missouri. Boom. Move on with your life. I wish it was, but we don't have that right now. So that's a fun thing. I feel like we're all fucked. And if you're going to get fucked, you might as well do it on a ghost bed from ghostbed.com/drinking bros. I called Rich today and I said, hey, I want the 3D Matrix. I want it. And the reason I'm calling you is I'm going to use my own promo code and I don't want to hear shit about it. And he started laughing and he goes, feel free. You're always welcome to use your own promo code. But I didn't want to feel like I was outed today. About to move back into the house here in a couple weeks. And luckily only one mattress and one adjustable base was ruined. So I'm going to go to ghostbed.com/drinking bros and order myself the new 3D Matrix mattress and a new adjustable base because those were ruined. And here's the beauty of it. At checkout, I got 2 free pillows with the mattress. And it was exactly like we say on the show. I don't feel guilty about it. I used my own promo code. Ghostbed.com/drinking bros. And as always, they got a 36-month pay-as-you-go program. No interest there. And you can bundle all of these deals together. We don't get like free mattresses. I know Fake Dan just bought one as well. And so did I. We don't get free mattresses. I wish we did. I think it's just too, a little too expensive of an item to be like, hey, dude, we just can't fucking give you this shit all the time. It's not a pair of socks per se. But I got the 3D Matrix coming, and I'll let you know how it is. Next up, Representative Barbara Lee is calling for the abolishment of the filibuster now that it fits her agenda. Recently, the campaign organization for Barbara Lee for Congress sent out emails asking recipients to sign their name to a petition calling for the end of the filibuster. The emails call the filibuster a Jim Crow era rule, giving outsized power to the minority party, and says it's time for it to go. In the email is a link to a petition people can go where they can add their names to, demanding the filibuster be abolished so Democrats can push through legislation on gun control and raising the minimum wage. The email also claims that there is nothing sacred about the filibuster and that it is an antiquated rule used to block progressive legislation throughout history. This opinion is in direct opposition of her stance in 2005 when during a press conference she said Republicans plan to change the rules on the filibuster that have been placed for over 200 years, rules that give the minority a voice in Washington. And then she went on to also say, ending the filibuster threatens democracy by shutting down dissent. She calls the attempts to abolish the filibuster an egregious Republican abuse of power. My pronunciation is on point today. So is my understanding about Barbara Lee today. Do they not know that all of this shit was taped? It wasn't like you just said it in passing and it was like, that'll never come up again. The problem is when you're in a government position for 50 fucking years like Barbara Lee is, at some point you've said something to contradict yourself and you knew this was going to come back to haunt you. Now, Dan, is there any chance that this actually happens?
No. No, not right now. But they're going to try later in the year for sure. Too much shit going on right now for them to get this one done. I mean, it would be this is what we mean when we refer to the nuclear option in the Senate. That's what she's calling for now. It's been a taboo for a long time. The left has been very outspoken against it. Well, of course, until they got a majority, and now they want to fucking flex. Well, it's not even a majority, I suppose. It's just up or down vote. So they don't want they want Kamala Harris to be able to vote on shit. That's all it is, because it's 50-50 in the Senate. So to pass something, if it ties, then it goes to the fucking president of the Senate, and that's the vice president of the United States. So, yeah, this is as far as contradicting yourself in the past, I don't know if I would categorize it that way, really. I mean, people do change opinions on things, but in this case, it's more that nobody believes any of this shit. They just say what's convenient at the time. When you believe something, you remember it. When you're just making shit up, that's why you have to look up and to the right to access the creative part of your brain. When you're making up a lie, you know what I mean? This is fucking typical. There's nothing surprising about this woman. She's a piece of shit. Although, to her credit, she was the only person to vote no on the Iraq war. So, congratulations.
I knew her name sounded familiar, so she got one thing right, I guess. To everybody who's burying me in the message boards about my words, yeah, they're going to get worse today, I have a feeling. I had a 6 a.m. flight yesterday. Daddy got up around 3, and the whole fam is coming in for a little ashes ceremony, so I apologize today. Been really killing the liquid IV to make it happen. If this filibuster goes down, it would be complete chaos. I don't actually see this going away. I think a lot of these threats, like stacking the courts and the filibuster, I don't think it's actually going to happen, because if it did, it would be chaos.
It'd be worse than chaos. I mean, it depends on. I don't know. It would depend on everything else that's happening at the time, but that would be something that might mobilize violent factions, to be honest, because, again, like she said before, it's a 200-year-old rule that existed for a reason. Now, I don't know why she said it came about during Jim Crow, because 200 years ago was a couple of years before the Jim Crow era. Maybe she can't do fucking math. I don't know. Seems likely that she can't do math. Anybody that's been in government that long certainly has lost the ability to think clearly. I could certainly see it happening, but that would be a step towards some kind of violent conflict.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where it's too big. It's too big of a law to change, and I just don't see it happening, especially before, it's because it's weird thinking about it out loud. Like, especially before the elections come down in 2022, this would give everybody a call to action to go out and vote the other way, even if you didn't necessarily believe in the candidates you had. So I'd be shocked if this happens. But, good for Barbara for trying to give it a go. We all tried to find Coney once as well, and that didn't work out too well.
I think they got him confused with Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers kept getting stopped in public.
Was that it? I haven't seen him. So maybe they did get the right guy, but it was just Carl Weathers.
Yeah. Or he was playing him in a Lifetime TV movie and was on set and then got arrested. I mean, I always think back to that picture of Pablo Escobar standing in front of the fucking White House when he was the most wanted man on the planet. Why would Coney not be here?
Yeah.
He's probably still here.
He's probably chilling in Miami, no mask, enjoying his life. Next up, Dan, we got Burbiz. What's going on with Burbiz? Are they here?
They're coming. Let's see. So June 10th, 2021 in San Antonio at the Brick at the Blue Star Art Complex in San Antonio from 4 to 8 p.m. Burbiz is hosting a networking event for military veterans, spouses, first responders, et cetera, et cetera. It's a meet and greet for business shit. People that are looking for ideas and have money, people that have ideas and are looking for money, people that just want to network and shit. So typically, I don't know who all is coming to this one. I'll have to get a list, but typically you're looking at Sean Matson will be there. Yep. Clint Romeshay, Dan Sharp, who's Pop Smoke, Rich High, Angry Cops, Jack Mandeville's at all these, Scott Davidson, obviously, that runs the company, and a number of other veterans and business people. So he's going to come on the show, I think, on the 7th of June, that week.
Great.
And then we'll go to his event later on. So, yeah, we're going to do this. I don't think we're going to do a show from there or anything, but we may do something stupid. We'll see.
Yeah, Burbiz is a great organization, and they're always throwing events to help veterans. I know Jack Mandeville obviously hosts the Friday Night Jack Sesh on Drinkin Bros Patreon, has been involved with them for years. They were doing a lot of events out of D.C., and they always pull like a ton of famous athletes, and they always have awesome giveaways and stuff like that. It is a great networking event to help meet, veterans in your area and try to get some jobs, get some connections you might not necessarily get to have in real life. So that's great that they're coming here to San Antonio. I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they usually do at least one event here a year. But last year, obviously, nobody did shit. So here we are. Yeah,
with COVID, you always wonder what's going to happen, or did it move, or did it change? So I'm glad they're back up and at 'em, man, because a lot of these things are finally starting to pop up again, and I just want to get back to fucking normal. That's it. Shout out to Burbiz. That's great. Next up, Ohio encourages vaccination by turning it into a lottery ticket.
Yeah, this isn't nearly as cringy as what I saw on television with fucking de Blasio this morning, where he's sitting there eating fries and a burger from Shake Shack, trying to show people that this is what you get if you get your vaccine. You get a burger and fries from Shake Shack. Watching him do this was the most awkward shit I've ever seen. He was nibbling on the fries and saying, I just wanted to show you what eating fries is like. And then he picked up the burger and he goes, now this is a burger. Imagine when you're getting vaccine, you're getting a burger. But in between that, he apologized to people who didn't like burgers.
Oh, boy.
Also,
is that true?
You don't even get the burger. It's just the fries.
Yeah, you just get free fries, Dan.
And their fries are fucking garbage.
Yeah. So he lied about the burger?
Lied about the burger, and they're giving one of the worst fast food fries out there. Fuck crinkle cut fries.
Well, relax on that, but yeah, their fries aren't that great. Now, this is Ohio. Governor DeWine. We've seen what was the last one we saw? It was fucking Dunkin' Donuts. Here, make your ass fatter.
Krispy Kreme.
So Krispy Kreme. So you need more fucking vaccines later, you fat fuck. Here you go. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. So Governor DeWine from Ohio has announced a lottery system where people have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine have a shot at winning big prizes. Ohio will be giving away 5 full ride scholarships and 5 $1 million prizes to 10 lucky residents. Now, this is taxpayer money. They've created a lottery with taxpayer money, to give away $1 million to random people who got vaccinated. What the fuck?
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, I knew about the fries thing. I didn't know that was De Blasio who pulled the trig on that. And now this we're giving away lotto tickets.
And here's the other thing:
it's free.
The pool of names is going to be taken from the Ohio Secretary of State's voter registration database, and residents will be able to sign up for a drawing via a website. So now you're reporting to the government about your medical conditions. This is all illegal. Well, it's not. It's technically not illegal because by reporting it to them, you've surrendered your right to your fucking privacy. So good luck, asshole. You think this is about getting you vaccinated? No, this vaccine's probably goddamn sugar water. Give me a fucking break. It's all about control and making you do what they want. Get down on your knees and suck my fucking dick, you little bitch. That's who you are to the American government.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen, but it's one of those things where you're like, man, I hope people don't end up doing shit like this. When I saw the free fries thing, I was like, all right, cool. And I think there was a story a few weeks ago. You and I were talking about the vaccinated section at the Miami Heat games, and I was like, how much worse can it get? I think we found it, but I think there's still time, Dan. I think there's still time to do even worse shit with vaccination giveaways. What I don't get is at least in Texas, they're free everywhere. So if you just want to pop into a CVS or whatever and get one, congratulations. You can do it and move on with your fucking life. Why do we have to give people shit?
That's the problem. Not enough people are getting it to reach herd immunity. This is what I said 8 months ago, 6 months ago. I don't remember when it was, but there will be enough people who either will not get it under any circumstances and people who can't for some other physical reason, medical reason, that you can't reach herd immunity on round one of this virus. It just won't happen. So the vaccine is bullshit. We've spent billions and billions of dollars for no fucking reason. When I say it's bullshit, I don't mean it won't protect one individual from something if it's functioning properly and the half-life is right and they get booster shots and all that bullshit, because vaccinations certainly do work. Will it work the way they're talking about it working to create herd immunity? Absolutely not. It is literally impossible. Like I said 6 months ago, it's impossible statistically for them to reach herd immunity with this vaccine or any version of it. So good luck. Again.
Yeah, the other part about this is Alabama's giving people the opportunity to take a lap around Talladega Superspeedway if they're vaccinated on May 15th.
Maybe they should fucking put the keys of the car down and run their fat ass around the fucking track, and that way they don't need the vaccine. How about that? Fucking fat dummies. Have you been to Alabama lately? It's people who are both obese and malnourished at the same time. Now, how'd you figure that one out? How are you able to stuff your fucking fat face full of so much bullshit, but none of it have any nutritional value at all? Unbelievable. We've done it. That's the America I know and love.
Dude, it's a world full of Hot Pockets and ranch. That's all we live in.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Just fucking fat dummies.
Anyone with a hot pocket?
Oh man, I have not laughed that hard this week, so that's amazing. Next up, we got Cardomax. That'll help you run around the track if need be. You can get all jacked up on Cardomax pre-workout.
Doesn't protect you from ankle injuries, though, or whatever happened to him. What happened to Sean? I don't remember.
Sean had a leg injury and couldn't complete the bomb suit thing.
Yeah, so just be careful of your legs if you drink. No, it's kidding. Cardomax is the best. They have the best of everything, really. I'm a big fan of this company because it's portable. We always talk about with the RTD drinks, like the Killcliff I'm drinking right now, shipping is always going to be a bitch. And the other side of that, the client side of the shipping issue, is that when we travel, I have to take this shit on the road with me. I can't travel with cans, so I have to buy Killcliff where I'm going, which is fine because it's CBD, right? But for my immunity stuff, I always take Cardomax because it's little packets. You can throw it in a fucking bag and throw it in your backpack. You're good to go anywhere you go.
Yeah, you're good to go. Look, the watermelon is my G in the blue raspberry. It's BOGO. It's buy one, get one free. with the promo code DB at cardomax.com. That is CARDOMAX.com. Promo code DB will get you a buy one, get one. And it's a whole bag. There's not one on Dan's desk right now, but it's literally a whole bag. So you're going to get one entire bag and then another entire bag. So even though you're, having these individual servings, you're actually getting a whole bag for free. So go to cardomax.com today. Promo code DB gets you a buy one, get one. And it's veteran owned. Huge fan of those guys. And the girl that ended up racing and beating Sean, who was on the show, I think she did hit the 10,000 Instagram subscribers after that show. So
yeah, good.
That's we knew it.
Well, I mean, that's I guess good. I don't know which kind of. I assume all of our most perverted people were the ones that went to follow her because she's a good-looking lady.
Probably.
So
probably. Next up, a schism may be brewing in the grand old party. Republicans recently ousted GOP rep Liz Cheney from her House leadership post after she repeatedly went against former president, we should say, Donald John Trump. The decision took only 20 minutes for GOP lawmakers to discuss and vote on, resulting in Cheney losing her position as their number 3 House leader.
I like how a lot of the media is trying to frame this as a her v. Trump kind of situation, but that's clearly not what this is. I mean, the people at the top of the Congress and on the Republican side have not been staunch defenders, particularly not since the election of Trump. It is not true. And even in the Senate, McConnell's called him out a number of times for a variety of things, right?
Yep.
This is about a lot more than that. This woman is something that I guess in a way you could say anti-Trump insofar as she's an establishment person. Her last name is Cheney, right? Which I think should be a disqualification to run for office in the United States in the first place. That guy, Dick, her dad, who is a piece of shit, by the way, is one of the worst human beings to ever serve in any kind of elected office in the United States, ever. He's led to more death and destruction just so he and his friends could get rich than almost anybody. So I think like we retired the name Hitler, let's just get rid of Cheney altogether. Not to compare the two. Right? I'm just saying, if somebody's a big enough cunt, get rid of the name, right? And that family can't run for office anymore. Jesus Christ, she is a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, the first person I saw on the news for this story was Adam Kinzinger.
Oh boy, was he on his knees with his head tilted back a little bit? What was he doing?
Yeah. He was right on the front steps there after this happened, just saying, I don't know why the Republican Party is holding on to Trump and everything else. Boy, he's become the guy now who just jumps right the fuck out there. And, Gates is obviously going through his issues. So who fucking knows? Me personally, I don't even give a shit about this woman and her other bullshit.
No,
like,
I don't care about
get her out of.
I don't care about the Republican Party. I don't care about any of these fucking parties. So when I see them fracture, that's always a good thing. When organizations that are total shitbags like this fracture and lose some of their power, that's always a good thing for everybody.
Yeah, the one that I saw today was right after this happened. AOC and then that's Marjorie Greene chick. We're going at it in a pretty heated argument out in the hallway today.
Maybe they should go on Triller.
It'd be great. That's all, dude. That's literally all I kept thinking is take this to Triller, open up the next Jake Paul fights. You'll break every record of all time.
Or have Jake Paul fight both of them at the same time. I mean, he would obviously win that fight.
Yeah, look, he's going to win a lot of them.
If an under 15-year-old soccer team can beat the women's national team, I'm pretty sure a fucking very athletic 6'2", 23-year-old can beat up 2 ladies. Let's be real.
Of course.
Come on.
Yeah, at the same time.
And I'm not saying that Jake Paul beats ladies, by the way. I'm just saying it would be funny to watch him beat those two, frankly.
Yeah, of course. By the way, a little house cleaning on the Jake Paul sitch. With Chuck Liddell, I know it's been going viral, and there's a lot of pictures, especially from Jake Paul, about Chuck calling him out, and then Jake saying this clown begged me to take a picture with him after the fight. That actually isn't true. Jake was a huge he's a huge fan of Chuck Liddell, and then asked him to take that photo. So at least I can clarify that.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell has never begged anybody for anything, especially not a fucking photograph.
No, Jesus Christ, that guy goes out and gets attacked. The last thing he wants is one more fucking photo. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
I'm very Biden on my words today. Maybe I should have some First Leaf from tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin Bros. Wine of the Month Club. I get messages all the time of what this is, and I'm like, hey, is it legit? Yes, it's legit. 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping. I don't know how you beat that. I really don't. It's essentially them just giving it away for free. Working on this seltzer, knowing what shipping costs are and all this other stuff, they're just giving you 6 free bottles of wine to say, hey, we have a great wine company and a great wine of the month. I promise you'll like it, and we're just going to send you this. And then if you don't, well, great. But man, Dan, how long have we been on this tip now? Year and a half?
Yeah, maybe longer than that. It's hard to say. I think 2 years.
Well, you're a big wine guy. I like wine, but I don't know as much about it as you are. I'm learning, and the cool thing is when you get these bottles in the mail, it comes with a giant card about the size of a laptop, each wine on the back, and then you can read it and know everything about the wine. And if you like it, you go in, rate it on your flavor profile, and if you want it again, they'll send it to you again. It's the very best there is. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin Bros today for 6 bottles for $29.95 plus free shipping. That is tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin Bros. 6 bottles of wine and free shipping. That's it's the best in my opinion. I don't even know who would beat that, to be honest with you.
No, you're not going to get that beaten anywhere, nor are you going to get the price, or I'm sorry, the selection beaten. It's the best selection of fucking wines I've ever had.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one, and I was like, man, I don't even know another one out there that's even close to that. It's the best. So it just shows up at your house once a month, and you can put it on pause, do whatever you want after that. I've let it go, my man. Next up, the cyber attack cripples the U.S. pipeline, but the people who created the ransomware have apologized. Now, in this one, Dan, I read about an hour and a half ago that the U.S. actually paid their ransom of $5 million.
Yeah, I read that as well.
The media is saying it was an Eastern European country. Meanwhile, everybody else is saying Russia.
Well, those are synonyms.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you think Russia's running all of its data farms from Russia? That would be stupid. And maybe they're using ExpressVPN to mask their location. It's hard to say.
Here's what I honestly can't figure out with this whole situation. Why won't the media or Biden just come out and say, look, we know we were attacked by Russia. We're going to do something in retaliation. Instead, it's this silent story. It kind of lasted 48 hours, and then all of a sudden this morning, pipelines are turned back on. We paid the ransom. Why can't the administration just come out and say, dude, Russia did this. We have evidence, and we're going to fuck shit up?
Well, I mean, I don't know how smart of an idea it would be to telegraph your actions if you were planning an offensive. So when I see something like this happen, and I see the government pretty tight-lipped about what happened and the response, that means they have some kind of aggressive response planned. Typically, that's what that means. If they're talking about it in public, they're trying to weigh public opinion for what they should or shouldn't do, and float certain ideas about what they might do, or at least on the international stage hold the offending country accountable and blah, blah, blah. But if they're saying nothing, it's like the quiet guy at the bar. You don't want to poke them too many times because they're going to knock your ass the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, look, you were in Homeland Security. What happens in these situations? And is there like a weird dark room full of hackers that are at DC that are planning shit as soon as something like this goes down to retaliate?
Well, we get hacked like several thousand times a month just from China. I think 3,000 to 4,000 times a month, individual hacks. There's fucking data farms all over the place where people are working constantly against us, and we have those as well in various locations throughout the country. There's a lot going on there in cyber warfare, and to be honest, this is the stuff that everybody worries about, the infrastructure attacks, but the theft of intellectual property is a way bigger problem down the road, because if everything, let's say electric cars, and then transportation for goods becomes electric as well, the technology to be able to build better batteries and the mines where we're getting these rare earth minerals become way more important. And right now we're getting a lot of our fucking computer chips from China. You know what I mean? It's not a good setup. And it's not a good setup when they can fucking steal our tech and remake it as well. And it's not a good setup to depend on them for any of this stuff either. So, I'm way more worried about the intellectual property and that kind of stuff than I am these things. Now, these all seem like test balloons to me. Like Jared said.
Yes.
I think Jared posted about it this morning because he's talked about it with COVID and then with other stuff before. It's just like seeing how strongly the American population will react and how much of their rights they'll give up. That's typically what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what COVID felt like to me. That's what this feels like to me, of like, all right, would people panic in a situation where they didn't have gas? The answer is yes. Go look at the fucking photos on Twitter and Instagram and all that shit. People were filling up Ziploc bags full of gas and Target bags and all that shit. There was a Hummer that blew up today in Florida because they put 20 gallons of gas inside Tupperware down there because they were afraid there was going to be no more gasoline. I think he's absolutely right when he says that. I was a part of one of them when I was in the Atlanta airport and all the electricity magically shut off, and they shut down the world's most powerful airport for an entire day to see what kind of panic it would cause. That was a weird situation where people, I would say it was about 100,000 of us probably in that airport at that time. It was pretty peaceful, and everybody helped each other get out of there. It did shut down the airport, obviously, but there wasn't really any panic. There was no looting or anything like that inside the airport, and it was pretty peaceful getting out of there. This is exactly what this feels like. And then on the chip aspect that you're talking about, Dan, off air last week, I was saying, I'm going to try to get ahead of this truck situation that's coming at the end of the year, because I don't want to be in a situation where, we're doing taxes again and then the trucks are gone and you've got to meet some fucking weird dealer in a parking lot and all that other shit. They're out of trucks right now, essentially, except for like high end, like fucking, I couldn't find a truck that was under like $90,000 to $100,000 because most of the other ones were sold out. And I asked 3 different dealers why. And he said, it's not that we're out of trucks. They're all sitting somewhere. But he goes, we're out of chips. And we don't have the chips to put inside the vehicle for all these electronic features that you were talking about. And that scares the shit out of me, because clearly it's being made by China or somebody like that. And what's to say, hey, everybody's got the chips in their cars, let's just flip the switch one day. And then everybody veers off into each other. That would be fucking chaos and massive death and destruction. That's what this all feels like to me, of like, all right, let's test out all these little things, see how all the people react. And then one day we're just going to out everything, and then everybody can go bug fuck over one thing, whatever that is.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it seems like an issue that should be pretty easy to solve. And it would dovetail with a number of other issues we have going on right now. So right now we have a big problem with Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and so on, sending people northbound with the intent of illegally crossing our border because it sucks in their countries. We see the largest lithium reserve in the world, I believe, is in Chile, which is, just a little bit farther south than that. So if we're looking to get off the Chinese tit when it comes to semiconductors and blah, 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 why are we not building fucking semiconductor plants in Guatemala, Nicaragua, to bring revenue to those places, to de-Chinese eyes, I guess, for lack of a better fucking phrase, our semiconductor process of manufacturing those, and completely cut them out of this whole fucking situation and go back to something more akin to Monroe Doctrine, where we're more or less just a hegemon for North and South America and kind of use that standoff to keep everybody else the fuck away from us, because it worked for a pretty good while. Seems like it would solve a lot of issues.
Yeah, and by the way, the message boards are saying the same thing here on YouTube. They're saying 5,000 trucks are sitting at a racetrack in Kentucky. I literally, in Texas, it was the same thing. Where did I go to? I went to Ford the other day, and they said, hey, we have 100 trucks just sitting like 10 miles away. There's nothing we can do. We're missing these chips, and we got to do it. And I was like, well, why are the fucking cars that are like $100,000 here? And he goes, well, people rarely buy those, and that makes more sense.
Yeah. Here's my idea. Let's take Fauci, Francis Collins, and these other assholes that used gain-of-function research and made sure it got funded, and then released this bullshit onto the world, and take that bill and lives and money that it costs, nail it to their fucking foreheads, and send them over to China, right? And then completely cut China off by doing what I just said. And then all the money that we owe China, come get it, fuckface. How about that? Because they've cost the world a lot more than we've ever owed them. That's for goddamn sure.
That's what I say, man. I mean, look, I know it would be expensive for the first few years to buy American for everything. But I don't need to buy American.
We need to put semiconductor plants in Guatemala and Nicaragua. That's it. And we fucking have some kind of pipeline that is secure from Chile all the way up to the north there, and then a fucking pipeline of that all the way up here. And what it does is two things. One, it solves the problem, the economic issues that are happening in those countries, and it disassociates us from China. It also puts secure travel pathways between all those countries in America, so people who are trying to get here don't have to fucking use coyotes. And those coyotes aren't making a bunch of money, and they're also not sending a bunch of volume of people over here so a terrorist can slip in here and there. This solves a lot of fucking problems.
I agree. I feel like you just solved it live on air.
No one cares.
For real. Like,
if people wanted to solve problems, they would get solved.
Yeah, they don't, because the more and more we depend on China for all this shit, we're going to keep getting fucked on all of it. But exactly what you're saying would actually be the correct pathway, not only to some financial freedom for some of those countries, but security, because they wouldn't be fleeing their countries because of their conditions and being poor.
Yeah, and these aren't assholes, by the way. You guys, I'm sure you've all run into these people, these as we like to fucking call illegal immigrants all the time. They're not assholes. They're people that are from shitty situations that are trying to get in a less shitty situation, and they're usually pretty fucking hard workers. Now, there are some assholes that come with them sometimes, but by and large, the people that I've experienced are some of the hardest working people out there. Now, you think if we fucking invest in their country like that so they can stay, right, and spend money on security and improve their lives, that's going to create a sense of loyalty, right? That is how you need a stick and a carrot in the world. You can't just go over to Iraq and point your gun at them and say, hey, democracy. That's not how fucking life works.
That's what the cartels basically did, wasn't it, Dan?
Say again?
That's basically what the cartels did down there to gain
Yeah, well, I
popularity.
mean, when Saddam Hussein first came to power in Baghdad, the first thing he did was rebuild all the schools and hospitals, right? And that's what cartels do. That's, I mean, as much money as Escobar spent going after federal employees, he spent that much taking care of local communities as well. Entire communities were subsidized just by him, so they would fucking be loyal to him. Now, you might say that's bartering in culture, but fuck, man, who cares if it works? Why? I mean, don't you want to give somebody an incentive to like you? Isn't that why you're polite to people?
Yeah, I agree. And especially, look, you're doing it in a legal way versus, hey, be a child soldier and fucking start selling drugs and shit. You're giving jobs to people that may not have them, and you're improving areas that definitely need improved. I am all for that, actually. That was not in our notes today at all. And I don't know if you just came up with that on the fly, but that would be the perfect solution, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be too easy, though. Too easy, Dan. Instead, people would rather just kill each other. Like Israel and Palestine, who are back at it again. Hamas has fired over 1,500 rockets into Tel Aviv and surrounding cities in recent days, escalating violence to levels not seen since the 2014 conflict between Palestine and Israel. Now, Dan, I felt like there was some peace treaties going on when somebody was in the White House a couple years ago.
Well, I don't know about Palestine and Israel, but there were 5 Middle Eastern peace deals signed between Israel and those countries when Trump was in office. But this is you can't blame this shit on fucking Biden. I mean,
I'm definitely not blaming it on Biden. I just think that once he got in there, then they were like, well, fuck it, let's go. You know,
it's a lot more complicated than that. There's a lot of stuff going on in Israel right now. The government in Israel has been trying to elect a new government for 5 times now, and they failed.
Keeps being postponed. Yep.
Yeah, it failed. No, it hasn't just
It's
been
like
postponed.
runoffs, like because they have to have a certain majority or something crazy like that.
Yes. Yeah, so they failed 5 times to elect a new government. Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, hero of the 6 Days War, is a total piece of shit, one of the most corrupt leaders on earth, and has almost gone to jail like 3 times in the last 2 years. Forever. Like prison forever. And somehow he's still in power. So if you're wondering if that's a fucking democracy, I mean, give me a fucking break. Now, Hamas and Islamic Jihad are probably not too thrilled that Palestine, well, at least Gaza, is completely blockaded by Egyptian and Israeli forces. That seems like, I mean, I try to imagine that here in America, what it might look like. I'm thinking about like a Native American Indian reservation. If we set that reservation up and then put armed guards all around it and told them they couldn't come off the reservation without our permission, they couldn't import or export any kind of goods without our permission, we'd probably end up fighting at some point, right? You think?
Yeah.
Nobody's right here. It's like Republicans and Democrats. You don't have to buy into this narrative that the government in Israel is right or that Hamas is right. I don't think anybody believes that. But you don't have to buy into either one of these. Those are both lies. The Israeli government are full of pieces of shit, and they've taken this entirely too far. And Hamas and Islamic Jihad and the PLO and everybody involved on the Palestinian side has fucked this up since the very beginning. And the people refuse to hold them responsible. I mean, there was a study done, I think it was in 2011, where something like 45% of people in Palestine supported suicide bombing. You know what I mean? So, it's everybody has to stop with all this bullshit. Thinking that my side's right or this side's right and posting your stupid fucking memes with your out of context data on the internet. I've seen a lot on the pro-Israel side that is just fucking sickening to me without any kind of regard for what's actually happening over there and what has happened. It's very irritating.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I touched on it briefly this morning on RPR, and what I said was, look, I am not educated enough to make a statement on this. I don't know what's happening with Israel and Palestine, how to fix it, who's right, who's wrong.
Well,
therefore, I don't have a statement, but everybody in Hollywood, Dan, ironically, is choosing sides right now. And I talked about Gal Gadot, who obviously served for the Israeli army. And then I talked about Natalie Portman, who's coming out and making statements that are for the Palestinians. I don't know who's right in this situation or if it'll ever be resolved. But yes, you're on Twitter. There is a bunch of people who are pro-Israel and or anti-Israel, and nobody can figure out why or how. And it's weird to me. You spent time over there. Can this ever get resolved?
No, definitely not. For a number of reasons. But I just want to give people a little bit of basic history here. So the first thing is, like I said, you can't call either one of these sides the fucking moral victor. You know what I mean? That's just not that's not what's happening here. And as I said, The Gaza Strip's currently under a total blockade from Israel and Egypt, but why? You would ask why, and it's because they were fucking launching full-on offensives from the Gaza Strip, right? But why were they launching full-on offensives? Because they felt displaced by the Israelis, or at least by the Israeli government. But this all goes back to when this territory of Israel, if you want to call it a state, was first created. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Palestine was going to be, in this proposal, a landmass that was even bigger than Israel, right?
I believe the initial proposal was essentially the two-state solution.
It was a two-state solution,
Yeah.
and I think Palestine got a little bit more, at least area-wise, in half. Now, some of the area wasn't as good as the other area, right? But it was half, and instead of accepting that, Arafat and all these assholes decided to attack, right? And Egypt decided to attack, and Israel fucked everybody up, right? And ever since then, there have been small to large-scale attacks, and the PLO, Islamic Jihad, Hamas, etc., tries to attack stuff, and Israel fights back and takes another 5% on top of what they already had. And now these people are pinned into a fucking little strip, right? And they're not happy about it. But they've chosen the wrong leaders for a very long time.
They all were allowed citizenship. Was that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They turned it down.
the Palestinians have turned down any kind of peace agreement for a very long time. The Palestinian government, if you want to call it that, has turned down all these agreements over time. And the agreements keep getting worse and worse, obviously, because they're losing power. And the real issue here is that the people are not their government. I'm tired of hearing all this shit that sounds like you're talking down to Palestinian people. What the fuck would you do if you were trapped in this strip, surrounded by what you've been told from birth is your mortal enemy, and you can't leave that because your fucking mortal enemy tells you can't? What would you fucking do in that situation? But the attacks and all this bullshit that are orchestrated by the Palestinian organizations and the retribution orchestrated by the Israeli governments, that is not the Israeli people, and that is not the Palestinian people. I'm sure there are those of you out there that do not want to be associated with Joe Biden right now. And I'm sure there are other listeners who wouldn't want to be associated with Trump. The real loser here is the people in both of these fucking countries. And it always will be.
Lastly on this, to put a cap on it, the thing that has been impressive to me, Dan, is this Iron Dome technology. This is a completely serious question because I have no idea. Does this exist for us in this country? If we were getting bombs like that, does that exist for us?
Look, a smaller version of it exists on battleships. They're GPS guided, I guess, weapons on battleships that can do stuff like that. But I think it's more likely that if it doesn't already exist, it will very soon. It would be some kind of laser, right? Because we've tried that. We tried to use lasers to shoot down ICBMs.
Yeah, I would say our missile defense is more worried about ICBMs than the rockets being launched off trucks and stuff. But I was going to ask, what was Bush trying to put in Poland that was pissing off Russia like 15 years ago?
Yeah, Jupiter missile system, I think.
Yeah, because that was a missile shield, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it probably does exist in some places, to be honest. But you know, there's stuff on actual individual ships, but we don't have like batteries of weapons on our shores. Otherwise, we use our shores for like vacation and shit, not like some of these other countries that use their shores to put fucking missile batteries. You know what I mean? We're not North Korea, so. We have lasers, we have like rail guns and shit like that, but I don't know how they're being used for any of this stuff because who the fuck? Look, if somebody shoots something that big at us, we're shooting all our shit too, and it's all over. So, whatever.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, you see the footage the last 3 nights, and it looks just like these rockets are just bouncing off of this invisible bubble, exploding.
Well, they're getting shot out of the air.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. But
Shit.
I like to think that it's Dikembe Mutombo up there. Not in my house, ha ha ha. Over and is swatting each individual rocket down.
A giant hologram of Dikembe Mutombo pops up over America
I
if
feel
we
like
start getting bombs.
If you can figure out how to shoot rockets out of the sky, you can damn sure make it look in a laser light show like it's Dikembe Mutombo doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would. You can tax me more if we can make that happen.
Saving America one
next
idea
up,
at a time.
Ellen DeGeneres is she's ending her show next year after 19 years of not making anyone laugh. Boy, she can no longer hold the title of least funniest lesbian on TV after next season when her show ends in 2022. This is not a huge shock, and it's not. Look, it is not because she is a terrible person. If you have high ratings, Hollywood does not give a fuck. It's because the ratings have dipped below 1 million viewers. That is it. I know she released a statement saying, I simply don't feel like I'm being challenged anymore, and I want to bounce. Not true either. She was making, I think, $23 million a year on her talk show, let alone what she was getting in syndication for that shit. So it's just simply low ratings on that. Don't believe either side. Don't believe her, and don't believe Hollywood. It's low ratings. That's it. Yeah. She's gone. Conan O'Brien is gone. All of these talk shows will be gone. Podcasts are dominating, and there's nothing you can do about it anymore. And this is where she'll probably bounce back at, Dan.
Yeah, nobody's going to watch Conan on TV anymore, to be honest. Why would they? Why wouldn't he? I mean, he should be doing his own shit.
He is. He's got his own podcast. It's number 3 in the world. It's great.
That's what I'm saying. There's no point for him to be on traditional television anymore. For him, I mean, why? It's a waste of his time to do that. Unless they just want to take what he's doing for his podcast and repost it on there. But I wouldn't lift one extra finger to put anything on television right now. I mean, the primetime shows used to get like fucking 3.5 million viewers, and if it was one of the great shows like America's Got Talent when it was super popular, or American Idol, some of the big game shows that are kind of ubiquitous and everybody watches them, it would get into the 12-15 range sometimes, but it would be in standard, it would be in like the 4 to 6 million range. Now these best shows on network television in prime time are getting like 800,000 to 1 million viewers each. Now that's 2 of our shows basically.
Yeah.
That is, that fucking medium is dead. There's nothing left on there except for live sports.
It's dead, and look, it has been for a while.
But Ellen's going away also because she's a cunt. You know what I mean? I think I don't think the network is forcing her out. I think it's because she's realizing how unpopular she's become, and that's hurting her ego. That would be my guess.
I have a fix for those ratings for Ellen, by the way. Just make the show her interacting with her employees. You wouldn't tune into that?
Yes.
The whole thing.
It reminds me of that old Gary Shandling show.
Yeah. What if it was her in a dunk tank? Right? And each employee gets to come up and read their piece, and then
but every time you miss, like the fourth falls out from underneath you. Ooh. So if you miss, there's a consequence.
And the dunk tape is horse semen.
Oh, God.
Why not at that point?
I mean, you're going to have to jack off a lot of horses to get that much semen.
A lot of horses.
You think her employees haven't done worse?
Yeah,
I'm pretty. Of all the stuff she's been accused of, jacking off horses wasn't on the list that I saw.
It wasn't on the list, but I think it would, between like how much emotional abuse you can take versus just like jacking off a horse for 10 minutes. Like at some point, you're going to take the horse dick.
They use a fucking auto stimulator.
They get the prostate.
Yeah.
Auto
ejaculator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, auto ejaculator.
I think at some point I'd rather do that than get fucking screamed at randomly.
I mean, it's the world's best fleshlight.
Yeah.
I want to see how the technology works.
That's a reverse fleshlight, though. It goes in your butt.
They don't have a tube that comes around the other end to suck it out?
Oh, yeah. They put a sleeve on your dick. Yeah,
right.
I'm talking about the auto ejaculator is a fucking prong that shocks your prostate.
So it makes you like ejaculate immediately?
Yes. What makes a horse ejaculate? I wouldn't recommend using it on yourself.
You're making a good case here, Dan.
I'm making a good case for a horse. You're not a horse, so far as I know. You may identify as one, but
a horse. He's kind of an animal. He's a little feral. He's a bit feral.
What's your quote on your OnlyFans for something like that for you to give that a go?
An auto ejaculator? I think we need a sponsor for that post. But if there's the auto ejaculator companies out there who are into like human testing, sign me up.
No. when you train somebody else to do everything you can do to my satisfaction, then you can start risking your life on things. But until then, not a chance, asshole.
Last up, Chicago attempts to replace its rat problem with a feral cat problem.
This reminds me of an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, actually, when Dee Reynolds buys a cat. And then it gets stuck in the wall somehow. And then Charlie says that cats don't obey the laws of gravity or whatever the fuck, or the laws of physics. Then they start feeding they put another cat in there. The other cat gets stuck. They tried it with a bird. The bird gets stuck. And then they just end up tearing the whole fucking wall down. In what world do you bring in fucking a bunch of feral cats? Well, this is Chicago, though, right? They don't make a lot of good decisions up there. I think she probably clicked her heels 3 times and said Beetlejuice, and a bunch of fucking cats showed up.
This is how we had a thing on Softcore the other day talking about that dude who collected feral cats and sold them for money, like back in the day.
What?
Timothy Dexter, yeah.
Yeah, and
Sold them to whom?
The
well, this is the
Caribbean.
thing. On the show, I was like, that is what a fucking psycho does.
Yeah.
And then multiple country boys got to me and they're like, dude, I get them from my barn all the time. You got to have feral cats in your barn to get rid of the mice.
Made a shit ton of profit, too.
Yeah, but I feel like 3 or 4 feral cats in a barn isn't the same as unleashing 70,000.
Yeah, but he collected
So since this practice first began 10 years ago, 1,000. So they're putting out 100 feral cats into the city a year to hunt rats.
Imagine being on the ship, though, with like 20,000 feral cats going down to the Caribbean.
Yeah, fuck that.
When are the snakes coming next? And then someone to take the snakes away.
No, that was St. Patrick.
Yeah, he chased the snakes out of
But
Ireland.
that was Catholics that he was chasing.
But for the rat problem. Right?
No, it was actual
Protestants,
snakes.
I mean. No, it wasn't snakes. Shut up, bitch. How the fuck do you chase snakes off an island, asshole?
Well, he's a saint.
Oh, I guess.
The Force, Dan.
He has magic.
Yeah, the Force.
We drink and salute him every single year. He has his own day. By the way, this feral cat thing in breweries, because you and I have done a lot of live shows at breweries, and then usually they'll walk us around and take us through the tanks and show us how everything works. Every single brewery has 2 of these feral cats, or 3, that they don't get rid of because they say that the barley or the hops attracts a lot of mice, and they keep these fucking things in the goddamn warehouse.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I know that has a barn has barn cats, so I guess it makes sense. It's just kind of weird that where are these goddamn? It says they're releasing feral cats into the city. What does that mean, releasing? How'd they catch a feral cat in the first place? From where? Did they go to fucking Indiana and get a bunch of feral cats?
They drive outside in the suburbs. They pick up the cat, they clip its ears, and they release it.
I don't know. Barn cats' ears are fucked up to begin with because of the breeding. They're all inbred, right? I guess.
But that's what that means. They clip it to mark that it's a feral cat.
No, that's what the fuck.
Yeah, that's true. Look it up.
No, that is not true.
They tag him.
Yeah,
They tag him, dude.
They tag feral cats. So
Yes,
somebody's out there fucking spending their time like, oh, that cat doesn't have a fucking collar on it. Clip. No, no one's doing that.
Would that really be the most wasteful thing you've ever heard a government do?
No.
No.
Not even close.
Yeah,
But
but-
it's just weird. You can't do wasteful and weird. You can do one or the other.
I'm telling you. I had a girlfriend who was really into this.
This report also said that the cat urine keeps rats away as well. So now the cats are just pissing on everything. So at what point God damn, dude. I mean, it's Chicago.
It sterilizes everything.
It's Chicago, so it's just like all cat piss and gunfire there now. Yes. Jesus.
Welcome to
fucking
Chicago. That's on their brochure, I think.
Christ. Yeah, cat piss and gunfire. Welcome to Chicago. What's going to happen when there's too many barn cats? Are they going to release like fucking pit bulls on PCP out into the wild?
Yes.
Get them.
This was an episode of King of the Hill where Dale had to like clear out rats from a Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so he like let out something to get the rats, snakes to get the rats, and then a mongoose to get the snakes. All in the same store.
I think birds of prey are what we need. We needed like super steroided birds of prey.
Yeah, we send up some Red Hawks.
Whatever happened to a rat trap?
Nah.
I feel like with today's technology, you should be able to mimic all of this and not have actual feral cats spreading disease all over the city.
Well, that just makes me wonder: is a Rat King real? So now I'm just really in this whole Rat King thing.
Do you want to explain to these assholes listening to this what a Rat King is? Because I don't know if everybody knows.
It's when a bunch of rats get together and then their tails all get bound together, and then basically they fuse into one giant Rat King.
Yeah, it's also how fat girls are made.
Oh boy.
Too many of them get together at a dance club late at night and start hugging too hard, and all of a sudden it's 3 normal-sized girls, 1 fat girl. A lot of people don't know that either. That's as reasonable as a fucking Rat King. No, fat girls are made with fucking fat fuck food.
And love.
Oh, boy. Is there a perfect way to end episode 100 than on that? I don't think so. Let's get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. This is Wes from North Carolina. By the way, submit at drinkinbros.com. He's coming live, and we just read them live on air. So we don't screen these. Whatever happens, happens. Says he's been a drinking bro since day one homie. And he's nominating Krista. Reason for the nomination, he says, is I want to nominate my wife, Krista, for Drinkin' Bro of the Week because she is, without a doubt, the best wife ever. She's a Tots Smoke Show. Whatever. I'm assuming she's a mom. Yeah, it does. Mother of 1 and a stepmother to my 3 kids that we all have full custody of. COVID here in North Carolina has left us with a few acceptable options for school. So she's been with few acceptable options for school. I've been full fucking Biden today. So she's been homeschooling all 4 kids, ages 10, 9, 8, and 6. As Dan would say, preparing them for the road. Not only has she transformed our home into a legit school, but she puts up with my crazy ex-wife, my trans dad, and finds time to keep my belly full and my balls empty every single day. Bravo, sir. Very well written.
We should just send a camera crew to film all this, and these people won't have to worry about money anymore. I would pay to watch that unfold every day. Jesus Christ. Hold on.
It sounds like a TLC show, like a reality show on TLC.
It sounds like Transparent with just a couple of extra steps. Mad Max says if there isn't a cat piss and gunfire welcome to Chicago shirt on DB website, he'll be disappointed. I think it's a good idea, actually. I'm going to make that today. But the merch store is live again as of now. So go buy stuff. We have a new shirt that I thought of, what was it, 2 weeks ago when that stupid address Biden did was, and the 2 dumbest bitches of all time, Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris, were standing behind him, and I couldn't help but think, man, these people suck. So we made a 3 Stooges shirt out of those 3 assholes. I just don't want you to read that as me caring about conservatives, because I don't. I just think these people are all fucking stupid. So go buy that shit. It's funny, and I'll have this Welcome to Chicago shirt made pretty soon.
For sure. I know you got another one getting made, and it's drinkinbros.com. You can get all the merch there. Is the full thing launched with all the shit in there, all the cool shit you've been working on?
Yeah, hold on. I'll bring it up. Why don't you?
Yeah, we can bring it up. Yeah.
Yeah, can you put it on that screen? That'd be great, because there's a ton of dope-ass shit we've been working on. A lot of people hit us up, and they were like, hey, did you take the merch store down? Just for a couple days so we could relaunch all this cool shit there. So we'll pop it up for sure.
Click on store up there, and it'll redirect you. There you go. So you got it up? All right. So you can see the 3 Stooges shirt right there. That's a good one. They are a bunch of goobers. Although I don't know if I would I don't remember what the original one looked like. I'm not sure if Biden would be Mo, because Mo is kind of the leader. I'm pretty sure Biden has no idea where he is. We did make the hashtag APAC shirts because people wanted to wear it in public to work, and I don't, unless you work for Drinkin' Bros, recommend you going to work with the word cunt on your shirt. Probably not the best idea. Let's see, we got some new American Party shit. We got some hoodies in here. We got the other all politicians are cunts there on page 2. Defund politicians. We got Drinkin' Bros, Pornhub stuff. Fathers Without Boundaries. What else is in here? There was something else that we put in here.
Oh, that Defund Politicians sweatshirt is up.
Oh, yeah. Defund Politicians is now in hoodies and sweatshirts as well.
Damn, son. Hey, is that tent up there?
No, so I have a call tomorrow to go through all the other products that are going to be on there, but it's going to be a bunch of shit. Oh, there's also a new shirt and hoodie series I made called No Room for Hate, and it shows a protester and a cop hugging it out.
Yep.
I think it's pretty funny, and it will start some conversations, to be honest. I want to. That's my ideal solution to this, is two men hugging.
Do we stumble upon your true calling in life, Dan? Is just making merch?
No. No, my true calling is to masturbate. I've masturbated probably 12 times in the last 2.5 days.
Bravo, sir.
Yeah. So.
Hey, there's Gay for Straight hoodies in here now, too.
Yeah, hoodies. And then we'll have hats and mugs and fucking all kinds of other tchotchkes and bullshit are coming sometime next week, probably. And if you have any ideas for any of the merch, fucking let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Massive upgrades to the store, and we got a ton of cool shit coming in soon. Look, kids, rate us a 5-star on iTunes and leave a quick review. That's what helps keep us on top of the charts. They don't really care about anything else, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it. We also greatly appreciate you sticking with us for 100 episodes now on fake news. Here's to 100 more, D'Anthony. For D'Anthony Holloway, I am Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.